Why are you listening to the Hollywood Raw podcast? It's trash. And look, I know podcasts, okay? Nobody knows podcasts like I know podcasts. The Steve Bannon podcast, that's the greatest one. Better than anyone. Rogan, anybody, right? But the Hollywood Raw, it's trash. They're dogs. They're dogs. You look at Dax. You look at Adam. Adam, they're both handsome guys. I appreciate looks, straight out of Central Casting. But in terms of content, not good.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. We are two guys who look like they just auditioned for Summer House and did not get the part. Look at my outfit. I did my hair today. I'm wearing a nice aloe hoodie.
I won most likely to be in a boy band back in high school. That was what I was voted for in the yearbook.
Wow.
Do I look like I belong in a boy band or on Summer House?
Right now, based on your age and our look, we look like we would be like the house next door and competing against Summer House. Like if we would be like the rivals. We look like Dax. You know what we look like? Remember Bayside? Obviously, Saved by the Bell, Bayside. You remember who the rival was? Valley.
Yep.
We look like alumni from Valley High School.
I was thinking that I look like I was a Backstreet Boy, but like now, like not them 20 years ago, but now a Backstreet Boy. All aged and gray and looking like I had a great life.
I look like Ryan Reynolds if he overdosed on antidepressants. That's what I look like right now. I'm telling you, check out the YouTube. If he just started putting antidepressants, if he just put a bunch of Lexapro on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and ate it, that's what I look like right now. Welcome to the Hollywood podcast. This past week we dropped a Ask Us Anything episode. So we try to do that once a quarter, and obviously today is our Raw rundown. We give you the top 10 stories of the week. Give you a little bit about my week, Dex. I had a busy day yesterday. You know who I met yesterday, Dex? I met Tate McRae.
Oh, really? Dude, she's huge right now.
She's popular right now. You know what's so funny for me? I have celebrities that do very well on YouTube, and I have celebrities that do very well on TikTok. For example, Brianna Chicken Fry, Alex Cooper. If I put that video on YouTube, nobody clicks on it. But if I put it on TikTok, the video goes crazy. Olivia Dunn, Alex Earle. If I put that video on YouTube, nobody clicks on it. But when I go on TikTok, the video goes nuts. I did listen to the Tate McRae album. It actually is a good album. She's a talented girl. She's got a good team around her. She's doing well.
I didn't realize it was her until she got super popular. Like, didn't she do one with it's one of the big DJs, Alesso, or shit, what was that song? But she's got like Sports Car right now. I hear it all the time because my daughter does TikTok dances and it's always playing in the background. But that girl is crazy talented, man.
She's working hard. She's doing it. I did a bunch of things yesterday. I was with Floyd Mayweather. So I got Floyd Mayweather leaving Fox News, and then I tried to talk to him. He's like, his bodyguards, he's got new bodyguards. I used to be close with his old bodyguards, but his new bodyguards started to get really eye me down, almost getting physical with me. But luckily, Floyd goes, you're my guy, right? And put his hand out. And I realized he didn't really want to talk, and I wanted to talk to him, but he didn't want to talk, which is fine. I mean, I get it. As long as they're nice about how he went about it, I appreciate that. I don't talk, but just so you know, you're my guy. I'm like, dude, I get it. But then they're like, hey, he's going to go shopping. Do you want to come with us shopping? I'm like, yeah. And I went with him to the Diamond District in New York City. You ever go to the Diamond District in New York City?
What the fuck would I go to the Diamond?
When you come to New York,
what extra expendable income do I have to just spend on loose diamonds in the Diamond District?
You are half right. Yes, but the world the Diamond District is it's something you've never seen. It's so insane. This one block in New York, the Diamond District. You just have to go there. It's worth a sightsee. Just see what goes on there.
Did you know that he was going to be there? Was he doing an appearance? My
buddy of mine hit me up and said, "Hey, I was around the corner from Fox News." A buddy of mine goes, "Hey, Floyd's at Fox Business right now," and I just ran over there. I saw his cars outside. 7 minutes later, he came outside, and that's how I got him, just be in the right place at the right time. Anyway, Floyd was going to go around the corner and go shopping, so I went jewelry shopping with him. And he's got this whole entourage. He's got a bunch of girls with him, and he bought a $1.8 million watch.
Jesus.
Dude, the watch was iced out. I mean, it was crazy. And then not only that.
Can I try to put it on?
I didn't want to even touch it, dude. I was like afraid to get close. I don't have that. I was like, but then all of a sudden he's got like these like women with him, multiple, and he bought them like all bracelets. Like, hey, get yourself something. Like, you want a bracelet? Let me get you a bracelet, and bought them all jewelry.
Should I put a clip in? Should I show people, or where it's not like he doesn't talk, so it's not worth it?
No, we can put the clip in. We'll put the clip in.
Okay, I'll put a clip in while we'll continue to talk about it.
So the thing was crazy, but that was my day yesterday. Also got Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri is the best. Talked to Guy Fieri about food. We don't need to put that clip in here, but Guy Fieri is when it comes to the nicest celebrities out there, I put Guy Fieri in the top 5.
Why do you love him so much?
I think he's an interesting guy, but I also appreciate someone who's like a genuinely good person. And he's not generally just good to me. Like, you see how he treats other people, and he's so nice. And I think that's why I love him. So I want to, and honestly, like for me in my position, I want to be good to him because he's good to me. And I want to show him like how much I appreciate that, because in my field, not a lot of people are really that kind or nice to me.
I get it.
You know.
By the way, can I? Sorry, go ahead. Keep finishing.
No, that was it. That was it.
No, I just had to make a correction. I said Alesso with Tate McRae. She did the 1035 song with Tiesto. I didn't know that was her because that song was super popular. She wasn't like a big name at that point. And then when I was going through all of her stuff, I was like, oh shit, that was Tate McRae? Damn. You know which song that is, right?
Yeah.
5. Okay. Anyway. I just had to correct myself because I know that I'm gonna like open up my IG and there's gonna be 700 messages. What a fucking dumbass I am.
It's hard. We don't have like we don't have a producer like live on us that could fact check us, and it's hard to have all the information. We're not a rolling decks. We are and we aren't. It's just so much. It's like information overload. All right. Before we get to the raw rundown, we read reviews on this podcast. These reviews is stuff that you guys leave us on iTunes, and you could actually do it on Spotify as well, but mostly on iTunes. If you give us 5 stars and say a few kind words, we actually read the review on the episode to kind of give you a little shout out and just say hi to you. Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
I got one. All right. This one is let's see, from Ira0913. It says, go-to podcast. Dax and Adam share so much behind-the-scenes knowledge every week. They keep it fun and have a good time while sharing celeb info we all want to hear. I learned something new, and I truly look forward to listening each week. Thanks, guys. Well, thank you, Ira0913. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ira. All right, let's get to the raw rundown, starting with number 10.
Number 10. All right. The only reason this story is in the 10th position is because it's still really new, but it is gaining a lot of attention online. Jennifer Lopez's hairstylist, I'm guessing it's Jesús, not Jesus, but Jesús Guerrero, passed away this week very unexpectedly. He was at the age of 34. I know that she went over to Dubai with him, and then he came back and was just really not feeling well, got sent to the hospital, and ended up passing away in the hospital. His family is right now desperately searching for answers to figure out why he passed away. A lot of chatter online, though, very much wanting to know why Jennifer Lopez would have basically kind of traveled with him and then left him to die, is what a lot of people are claiming. I'm not sure that's the full situation, but he has worked with some massive stars: Katy Perry, Rosalia, Demi Moore, Charlie XCX, Camila Cabello, Dua Lipa, Jessica Alba, Shea Mitchell. I mean, he's one of those massive hairstylists that got into the fold with that crew, and it's like everyone uses him. His family did set up a GoFundMe page to cover funeral expenses. Were able to raise $96,000 before they ended up closing it. And that's because Kylie Jenner said, this is one of my good friends. I would like to cover all funeral expenses and costs associated with having to bury him or just take care of the family. So that was really kind of a cool thing for her to do. And I know it took a lot of stress off the family, but still a lot of questions on why he died, why he was not feeling good. What happened in Dubai that would have, I don't know, triggered something for him to not feel well or to cause his downfall so quickly.
So, Dax, we're not speculating Jennifer Lopez.
No, I'm not. I just know I was watching videos online where it's like people are basically calling her the Roger of the, how Roger, Liam's friend, was there with him and then abandoned him. Like, that's kind of what they were accusing Jennifer Lopez abandoning your friend when he's not feeling good and then he passed away. I don't know. She posted a massive long post on IG. It basically said, "There's no surprise your mother gave you the name Jesus. You are gentle and kind and loving, quiet and unassuming, but so powerful, and your resilience your presence was felt the minute you walked into any room. You never demanded the spotlight. You never needed to make the sound to be recognized. Your heart and your talent did that effortlessly as you did. Artistry did. I've been having trouble putting the words together for the last few days. The truth is I'm still in shock and that such a beautiful young life has come to an end. It seems senseless and unfair. I know your family is heartbroken, and I am, and everyone who knew you. Your spirit moved on to the next phase beyond this. But I know wherever you are right now, there is beauty and light, and beauty and light you left will live on forever. Rest in peace, sweet angel." So she clearly hit her hard as well.
Sure. It's pretty unique times when celebrities now, it's not just the celebrity that becomes famous, it's the people around them, from the bodyguard to the assistant to the hairstylist. Chris Appleton is, obviously a huge star right now. And I know Chris does a little bit of speaking engagements. He'll be on the Today Show talking about hair and stuff, but like people go crazy for these people. And it's just, they work with celebrities. They aren't
because they're making the celebs look amazing.
Yeah, but
it's not Jennifer Lopez who gets up and looks amazing. She has a hell of a glam squad that puts her together, and everyone goes, "Damn, J-Lo's hair is cool. I want J-Lo's hair," and this is the guy that makes that hair.
But yeah, you're right. All right, Dex, number 9.
By the way, and I just want to make clear, he wasn't in Dubai when he passed away. He had already come back to Los Angeles. He passed away in a hospital here in Los Angeles, but had recently been on a trip to Dubai with J-Lo. So that's just so everyone understands that timeline.
Gotcha. Dex, number 9.
Number 9, more Justin Baldoni crap along with Blake Lively. So Justin, he's calling out Blake Lively for demanding privacy after this whole thing has been so public, and she has accused him of sexual harassment and all of that. But basically, he's pushing back on her proposed protective order, claiming that the actress has already publicized the sexual harassment allegations. His team filed a legal response to her request for quote unquote heightened protections and privacy in a letter that they filed to the court on Tuesday. Lively and Baldoni, they've been locked in this back and forth legal battle for, it seems like 20 years at this point. But they basically said, look, you can't ask for this protective order and for us to stop talking. Like, you've already been talking. This thing is too big at this point to now want to try to shut it down or not have anyone talk. They said, given how actively the Lively parties have publicized and basically put her claims out in the media, we're surprised now to learn that she wants to prevent the public from accessing material and relevant evidence. It is interesting that Lively's team would try to silence anything at this point, considering what's the point? Like, everything's out there. Justin hasn't created an entire website devoted towards exposing every facet of information. And it seems like her lawyers are going, well, this all hurts the case. Yes, everything hurts the case. All of this information hurts the case, which makes me think that is why this will end up settling, because at this point, you don't want it to go to a trial. People are going to, from a year from now, everyone's going to have their mind made up. You're not going to find a juror who doesn't have some kind of preconceived notion about who they believe is the right or wrong here. So I don't think you'll ever get a fair trial at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how many stories Baldoni just keeps giving to the press. And they're feeding outlets to stories, and they really are getting that public opinion because you're just keep feeding stories to the outlets. And obviously when you feed them those stories, they come from your perspective, your narrative, and that general public opinion is really leaning on Baldoni's side. Bottom line, they're really manipulating the crowd. In fact, if it went to a court, I think it's gonna be hard to find jurors that aren't aware of this situation.
Yeah,
because
there's no way. It's too big.
It's too big at this point. They've been feeding so many stories that to find jurors that aren't aware of the situation, where they've already haven't been sort of, I don't want to say manipulated, but influenced by some of the media, the headlines lately, it's going to be tough. it's going to be tough. So
More importantly, Adam, more importantly than all that, I finally got to see the full It Ends With Us movie.
And Dax's review.
All right, Dax's review of This Ends With Us. I actually totally enjoyed it. And that was a good movie, and I'm a little upset that there's not going to be a number 2. They did a good job. Both of them are phenomenal actors. And then you can see, like, this love story, you want to see the next chapter of it, and we're never going to see the next chapter of it. So I'm a little bitter that these two bozos went and fucked it up, because now I don't get to see the next chapter of this movie. But my wife and I sat down, we watched it. I actually found it really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah, Dax, shut up.
I don't think I'm going to watch it. I just don't really have interest. Not in a bad way. Listen, I think they're probably both decent actors, you know, and I just don't really
that's
have interest.
the thing. I was like inspecting it. I wanted to see some moment between them where I was like, oh yeah, that's where he definitely crossed the line, or oh, she looks like a bitch. Like, but no, they did a good job in this movie. That's the part I'm like, how did it go from you had chemistry in the movie, everything looked good, to this is where we're at today?
Yeah, no, I get it. And now maybe I just have to watch the movie to see the interactions and kind of do my own inspection, speculate. But
Yeah.
I'm right now watching First Swing on Netflix. It's like the golf reality series. It's really good. It's too much good shows. Suits is out now on Peacock, and now I'm finally watching Peacock. So I'm just too busy at the moment, Dax. Check me in like August when I have nothing going on, and maybe this case will be settled by then. All right, Dax, number 8.
All right, there's a new Peacock docuseries, and it's about Matthew Perry diving deep into his life and the last days and what really went down. But it's called Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, and explores, everything what the investigation looked into. And they have obviously released the cause of death here, the accidental ketamine overdose, but really what was in his system at the time, which was a whole lot of drugs that I can't pronounce. So I'm going to skip on that. But it was a, really sad story to have him suddenly pass away back in October 2023. We know that he struggled with alcoholism and opioid addiction for years. But this is another look. Have you watched any of these documentaries on like Peacock or anything about people's deaths? I don't know if they do a good job, but this one is getting a lot of hype right now. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be good. That's why it's getting all this hype.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it, but you mentioned watch documentaries on Peacock. I'm watching Suits on Peacock. This is the first time I've watched Peacock. So yeah, I haven't. I'm seeing this, but I did read the story about Matthew Perry and how much was in his system, and yeah.
Oh, we got another story about what was in someone's system. Let's move on to the next story, just because I want to talk about Liam Payne and basically what was in his system when he died.
All right. So what number is that, Dax?
Number 7.
Number 7, Liam Payne. What's going on in Liam Payne, Dax?
So there's been a lot of the autopsy and toxicology results have been coming in, but Liam Payne had a dangerously high alcohol level when he died. And it was basically, I guess, because I'm converting it from the Spanish documents, but it was 2.7 grams per liter, which is 0.27 blood alcohol level. Which is crazy high. Think about that. The legal limit here in the U.S. is 0.08, and he was at 0.27. So very, very drunk at the time of his death. The singer also had cocaine metabolites, again, a bunch of other antidepressant medication in his system at the time when he had fallen from that balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina. But the toxicology had previously found traces of alcohol, cocaine, and prescription drugs. So this was kind of like the confirmation that truly was what was in his system at the time. And we can tell you, obviously, there's been a lot of changes over the last couple months in regards to who is at fault for his death. We can tell you there's still 2 people who are kind of at the center of the investigation that had sold him cocaine either a couple days prior or literally up to the day that he died. I know that they had raided their homes of these two people, and ended up, the police collected about $244,000 worth of money from their homes, because one of them, their primary business was literally coke dealing, them and the whole family. That was their jobs. So we're going to keep watching on this, but there was just really confirmation of what was in his system at the time, which dude was really, really messed up on drugs at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. He, again, another person with a lot in his system. I mean, that was just alcohol. Then he had the drugs in his system. I mean, that guy was on a whole nother level. He was on another hemisphere. It was just, that is
at that point, he could have just had alcohol poisoning and died just with alcohol. You didn't even need the drugs. That's how much,
sad, man.
How high that blood alcohol level was.
That's sad, just for his whole family and everyone involved in the whole Liam Payne situation. Just I can't believe we're still actually dealing, trying to figure out what's going on, how this all came about with Liam Payne months later.
Sad.
Yeah. Do you still, again, Dax, do you know where you were when you found out Liam Payne passed away?
Oh,
is it one of those type of deaths?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
I remember I was driving and I was on my phone and I saw it, and I just remember just like, wow. And I just knew, like, this is going to really be a worldwide story in the way that, like, people are going to mourn, and just hearing like what was in his system. It's pretty gnarly. Dax, number 6.
Jay Leno is responding to Monica Lewinsky's claims that he was especially hard on her after her affair with Bill Clinton hit the headlines back in the 90s. So she sat down, she did the Call Her Daddy podcast, and basically was just really like, Jay Leno was not fair to me. And I think she holds a massive, massive grudge to Jay Leno, and he is kind of addressing it. And he's like, hey, look, yes, it may have been unfair to be the butt of all the jokes, but at that time, and there was every late night host was talking about her. This was the biggest story in the country. So for him, he was like, sorry, but it literally was the biggest story. So we were doing a lot of jokes. We were criticizing it all the time. It was just kind of fair game at that moment. You remember he even brought on like a blow-up doll with her face on it on the show at one point. I mean, he poked fun every single night, but so were all the other late night hosts. So I'm not sure why she singles him out. But he did say, look, this was a different time. And he, that was 30 years ago, and he hasn't mentioned her name in 30 years. And it's not something he would joke about today. So I think he does feel bad about what happened, like kind of shaming a woman in that moment. But he goes that it was a different time back then. And so he wouldn't do it now. And he holds no ill will against her, is what he said.
I think Jay, what he said was a fair statement. Like, he's not thinking about it today. It's not that it was animosity towards her. It was just what he did at his job. And yeah, she was in the news. Every single entertainment.
That was the biggest story ever.
It was a story of the day.
That was a story of the decade.
These guys, these late night shows, open up their show every day with making fun or having fun with the stories in the news. That's just what they do. Every single host does. So yeah, it took over the news cycle during that time. So, and Monica Lewinsky doing these interviews, it's like,
that's a big get for Call Her Daddy, though, don't you think?
No, it's a huge get, but I feel like Monica, and I haven't really paid attention to her, what she's done the last few years, but I feel like she's in some ways monetized the whole situation.
She has, but she also like distanced herself from the scandal by like doing all this positive work that I'm surprised that she would even want to bring it up on Call Her Daddy. Like, why even do the show when you've worked so hard to separate yourself from the scandal?
Yeah, but I also think, again, like we said, there is some sort of monetization part of this scandal as well.
Yeah.
Like that's what's getting your foot in the door, really. Yeah.
Okay.
For meetings. All right. What number are we on?
We are
5?
on number 5.
Yeah, number 5.
Number 5, a little update for you guys on Teddi Mellencamp's brain surgery. So they went in and they removed 4 tumors from her head. And she actually posted a photo of the brain scan, and you see the giant lumps, which is really, really scary. She said that she is so grateful to the incredible surgeons, doctors, and nurses who made my surgery a success and my recovery progress possible. In full transparency, more tumors were removed than expected, 4 in total. This fight is not over, but that round has been won. And so she is very, very happy to be alive at this point. And if you look at that brain scan, I cannot believe that she is functioning and here today after those tumors were removed.
Yeah, it's pretty. Those photos are tough. Dax, number 4.
Number 4, Alex Earle and her Hot Mess podcast was dropped by Alex Cooper's network. It seems like there might be a feud going on between Alex Cooper and Alex Earle. I don't even know the backstory between this. Were they like best friends or what?
They weren't best friends, but they had a working relationship. Alex Earle brought her podcast to Alex Cooper's network. And obviously, Alex Earle is the biggest influencer out there. Alex Cooper, obviously, one of the biggest female podcasters out there, and developed her own platform. Alex Earle went to
it's called the Unwell Network.
Yeah. The Unwell Network. And, they got to deal with Sirius right now. Well, a couple weeks back, maybe a few months back, actually now, it's kind of interesting. Grace O'Malley, who, again, some people are like, who are these people you're talking about? And I get it. But Grace O'Malley was an employee for Barstool who was friends with Brianna Chicken Fry, and they used to do a podcast together. She left Barstool because she had a falling out with Brianna. And as soon as she left, because it was a kind of public falling out, she got basically snatched by Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper's like, I'm taking you, and I'm going to give you that platform to share what sort of happened and stuff. And what Dave Portnoy did is, as soon as the news broke that Alex Earle was leaving Alex Cooper, he posts a photo of him, like a screenshot of his phone call to Alex Earle. Here's my feeling on it. I don't think that Dave Portnoy will be able to afford Alex Earle. I think they have a friendship, but at the end of the day, I just don't think he has. I think he has money, but I don't think it's
he's got the money.
No, he's got the money, but for him financially, it's not the best investment for him. Unless he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna just gamble a little bit. I'm okay with losing money on this, because you have to pay so much to afford her to do it, bring her podcast there, that it's just hard to bring in that much money. He's lost a few podcasts recently that were doing great numbers because he just didn't want to pay them as much. Now, I think maybe he would pay it just out of spite and just to go against Alex Cooper for what happened. But
I thought got along with Alex Cooper.
They had, I think they get along.
I think that he very much was like, hey, it is what it is.
But business is a sport. Business is a sport to these two. I mean, obviously they're financially well off already. So for them, it's more about sport, and it's good for ratings. Like, it's good for everyone. It's, people want to see that all sides of how the business works and have people talking about it on air. It's good content. But I'm curious when Alex Earle does her first interview, or Alex Cooper finally do address it. I just want to hear the truth of exactly what happened and why the relationship kind of went down. All right, Dax, number 3.
Number 3, huge story this week. I don't know if you saw the video that has gone very viral, but there is a comedian out in New York who basically ambushes Alec Baldwin as he's getting out of his SUV. And he is dressed from head to toe like Donald Trump. He is talking in the Donald Trump accent, and he is going up to Alec Baldwin, and he is just like giving him a really hard time, talking about like kiss the ring. And then he talks about how like Alec Baldwin had killed the woman. At some point, like, it started off really funny, and then I started to cringe a little bit, and I was like, oh God, where are we going with this? But this video has gone insanely viral. It's this comedian. His name is Jason Scoop. And guess what, Adam?
What's that?
We have Jason.
There he is.
We're going to bring Jason in, and we're going to talk to him about this whole video and how viral it's gone, and his reaction to all the love, and I'm assuming a lot of hate at the same time. What's up, Jason?
How are you guys? It's great to be with you.
Great to see you. You're not in the Trump costume, so we had to. Dax had to be like, "Is that the guy?" I was like, "Yeah, no, that really is Trump. That's the Trump impersonator." So obviously, Jason, your video became viral this past week of you dressed as Trump, kind of going after Alec Baldwin. And obviously you're a comedian, and this is not the first time. You do a lot of cameos as Trump. You make a lot of viral videos as Donald Trump. First time you actually went Alec Baldwin, which I don't know how you make a video with Alec Baldwin and make him likable. How did he not kick your ass, Jason?
That's funny.
I don't know. For a moment there, I thought he was going to kick my ass. And I was trying to stay in character. It's a weird thing because I'm trying really hard to keep the lips up in the posture. But at the same time in my head, I'm like, is he going to hit me? So that was because he got really in my face. He got really close.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So let me ask you this, dude. So obviously the video it's a crazy video. I mean, some people love it, some people hate it, and it's obviously we know what people like it and we know what people dislike it. Yeah. It's an interesting video. It's very unique.
No, I want to know, Jason, why did you go into the death stuff? That was the part where I was like, because I was laughing. I was like, oh, this is really funny. Like him, because, Alec Baldwin was made fun of Trump so much over the last, 8 years. And then to see the script flipped made me laugh.
Yeah.
But why did you go with the death angle? I think that's where I got a little uncomfortable.
So, well, a lot of people are asking me over and over and over, do you think you crossed the line? Do you think you were inappropriate? I'm like, yes, of course I crossed the line. Of course I was inappropriate. And in regards to why did I take it so far, it's kind of like a runaway train. Once the first Alec, and when I'm in character, it's almost like Jason's gone and I'm basically like Trump takes over, And beforehand, I was thinking, I spent actually days, because I was planning on doing this for days. And I was thinking, do I hit him with the kid gloves? Do I be like, your impression was trash and just keep it, PG, just bash the impression? Or do I go to the dark side? And, full disclosure, I support Trump. I voted for Trump. I'm not a fanatic. I'm not a lunatic, but I definitely am in that camp. And my fans, most of my fans are in that camp. And I want to please my fans. And also, I just knew that if I went there, this was I was going to make an explosion. And I predicted that it would explode. And it exploded. And I kind of got what I wanted. But from a human standpoint, if I were to meet Alec Baldwin in person, I wouldn't say these things to him. I'm sure he's he's a nice enough guy. We both grew up in Long Island. He's in Massapequa. I grew up in Levittown, so we have that in common. He's a very talented actor. I don't hate Alec Baldwin. But in character, what I do with my fans, I know that's what the fans wanted. And yes, that I did not anticipate the tsunami of hate. A lot of love too, but a lot of hate.
Tell me about
what
are you hearing from people online? What is the big reaction? Is there more hate or more love?
Well, still, there's a lot of love. It's sort of the story of my life, literally since preschool. People either love me, I love Jason, or I don't like that kid. This is just a continuation of my entire life. The love is like, oh my God, you're the GOAT. Oh, thank God for you. Oh, my whole family. Shared this with my whole family. The hate is emails, DMs, kill yourself, just everything, every word in the book. The A word, B word, C word, D, F word, G word, F, Z, every word in the book. I've been called every word in the book. And obviously, that hurts your feelings a little bit. Obviously, a little bit. I'm a human. But then you see the next message. You're the GOAT. I love you. Let me know when you're performing live. I'll go anywhere to see you. So the self-esteem dips really, really, really deep down and then shoots up and then up and down and up and down and up and down.
Jason, when you make a video like this, it goes viral and, things start to change in your life. Obviously you're getting the feedback from fans. Did you hear back at all from Trump's camp? Did they like the video, or did Trump reach out by any chance and say,
so
"Hey"?
I have a lot of people in Trump world who follow me. His press secretary Caroline Levitt, she's a follower. She, reaches out from time to time. Oh, I loved what you did, and this is going back like a year. She followed me for a year, way before she was press secretary. But this is sort of a little exclusive here. I was reached out, and I have to be careful because certain things are supposed to be secret or whatnot, but I was reached out to somebody very close to him, very close. I would say actually one of his best friends, and he does have best friends that aren't in politics, that aren't public. This is just a man who's really close with him, and he's trying to organize something to get me with the president.
Oh wow! And it's
That's-
based on this, or just because you
It's
have?
based on this. It's
Wow.
basically, yeah.
That's interesting that they would want to connect you to after, because I know obviously Trump hates Alec. Alec hates Trump. There's a long-standing feud there, so it's interesting that this would be the thing to get you to meet the president.
So Jason, was this something overall, like, why would you, was this a video just to make content? Were you just trying to get laughs or get clicks? Like, what was the thought process behind it? And then my other question is, are you doing this? I saw a video on you did this to De Niro recently on the streets. Have you done this to any other celebrities?
I got Whoopi Goldberg yesterday morning. I'll answer your question from the last to the first.
Yeah.
I got Whoopi Goldberg yesterday, which was sort of a cluster F.
I love Whoopi. No, please don't tell me you pissed off Whoopi. Alec is like, I mean, Whoopi's the best. But what you do?
Well,
with Whoopi?
I actually love Whoopi too, but the Trump fans, obviously, as everyone knows, The View and the Trump supporters do not see eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up on Whoopi Goldberg. I grew up on Sister Act 2. I grew up on Ghost, Rat Race. Even the more obscure one. I was a Whoopi fan, and I still am a Whoopi fan. However, I do think even the most ardent anti-Trump person can agree the women of The View are super duper 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 anti-Trump. And the fans want to see, a lot of comments were, who are you going after next? The women of The View, the women of The View. So, but yesterday didn't exactly go as planned as the others went. The others went pretty damn good so far. I've had very good luck. Good camera angles, good optics of, just in terms of audio and sound and the video. But I rode to The View on a city bike, and I couldn't find a place to park it. And I was getting there, I was getting close to the time where they were going to be leaving the building. So I said, F it, let me just go with the bike. And my camera guy was waiting for me. And so I'm there with the bicycle, and the security guy goes, you can't have that here. So I'm like, okay. So I say, camera guy, you take my bike and go, and I'll just audio it. I'll do voiceover with, whoever I get on camera. So Whoopi comes out the building. I'm like, oh my gosh, but she was so far away. And I figured, okay, maybe I'll get Chelsea Handler coming out. She was the guest. But then Whoopi and her handler person, whoever walks her to her car, they start walking into the street, and they're getting closer and closer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to make a split second decision. And I run up and I just do voiceover. I'm like, Whoopi. And once again, I was nowhere near as scorched earth on her as I was like, I loved you in the 90s. I loved Rat Race. I loved Ghost. But what has happened to you? You've ruined the legacy of the show. And I was like, we can be friends again. I want to come on like I used to. I said, Barbara Walters is rolling in her grave. So I tried to be a lot nicer with Whoopi. And then she kind of came up to me. It was an awkward moment because she came up to me and I stepped back. And then she was like, no, I wanted to shake your hand. And then this big, bald security guy comes over. He's like, get the out of here. And he chased me away. So it was sort of that was more frantic. I'm not even sure if I'm actually going to post that one, because I don't know. I might edit it down. I don't know, but I got Whoopi.
It's interesting, but she took the high road. She liked it. She shook your hand.
I mean, she was giving me the death stare, but like in a funny way,
Yeah,
Okay.
I would go after. Listen, Baldwin. I personally, I think you went a little too far with the death. That's my feeling.
I definitely went too far. I admit I went too far. But hey, I
Yeah.
got to answer your initial question. Was I going for laughs? Was I going for clicks? Was I going for views? I was going for all of the above. And
I respect that you actually admit that. I respect
yeah.
that, like, you're actually honest about it. Because some people don't. No, I wasn't chase clicks. No, you're like, and I get it. And that's the world we live in today, and people just need to accept it. But Whoopi's the best, even though politically, you might disagree. She's the sweetest person.
No, I do love Whoopi Goldberg. I openly admit I love Whoopi. Some of my fans might not like to hear that, but I do in my heart. I love Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jason, where can people check out what's your Instagram so I guess people keep following your content?
My Instagram is at Jason Scoop, SCOOP like ice cream, at Jason Scoop Comedy on YouTube and TikTok, at Jason Scoop on X.
Jason,
And,
I wish you the best. Good luck
thank you so
if
much.
meeting Trump, and hopefully you get your ass kicked because it's a
Fingers
dangerous
crossed.
world out there, bud. All
It
right, thank
really
you.
is.
Oh, this one's a sad story. Michelle Trachtenberg, very famous actress who I feel like I have been covering for so many years, has passed away. Most people I think know her from Gossip Girl. For those people who watched her when she was younger, she was in Harriet the Spy. She recently underwent a liver transplant, and we're trying to wait and see if that had any reason for her to be passing away. But apparently her mother found her around 8 a.m. Wednesday morning out in New York. She was living in this 51-story luxury apartment. I guess it's called One Columbus Place. Isn't that like the big one? Is that the one that overlooks Central Park?
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
I guess went to her home and found her unresponsive in the morning, called 911. They came, and they had pronounced her dead there at the scene. It seems like there's no foul play, but I believe that they're really looking into the situation. She underwent, like I said, a liver transplant within the year, and maybe her body had rejected the organ or something, is what some sources are saying, because it was dying of natural causes. So we will see if some more information comes out. This is a really big story. Obviously, people want information, you know.
Yeah, her mom found her body just like, just I guess nothing, no movement to her body. It's a sad thing. She was doing very well for a period of time, and I guess, I think there's a lot of people questioning what exactly went down with her death.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people that are curious. Was there possibly some sort of substance or suicide? I know
Well,
she has health issues.
she was looking very skinny and gaunt on social media over the
Yeah,
last couple of months, so I think that's why people immediately are like, "Oh, is there drugs?" But in reality, she was suffering with liver disease and had to get a liver transplant. That'll take a big toll on your body. But obviously, a lot of her co-stars from different things that she worked in are talking about her. Did you know her more from Gossip Girl or more from Buffy?
you know what's so funny? Know how I know her from the movie Euro Trip. I never watched Gossip Girl, even though it was big at the time in New York. I just didn't watch the show. For me, when Gossip Girl came out, the main people were Blake Lively and Jessica Cesar were like the two big stars. And what's the girl who's married to Leighton Meester was really
Yep.
big. So I actually forgot that she was on the show, and I also never watched Buffy because I didn't watch CW. I just I can't believe people watch CW. Is that still a network, by the way? I don't even know.
I think
Is it?
so.
I don't even know.
I think so. But it's funny because I feel like I used to cover Michelle all the time. Like she had one of the most like famous names in Hollywood there for a long time because she was in that it crowd of the young girls going out to the clubbing and stuff, and so I just feel like I have covered her so much. Sad ending to all of that.
She was one of those people, and it's so weird because I just thought of her the other day, and I knew that she sort of was in New York, and she was one of those New Yorkers that I just never ran into. And being guy who's in New York, I see all the celebrities. I kind of run into like the New Yorker type people. It's a big city, but a small city. But for some reason, the other day, I was like, she's like one of those celebrities. Like I've just never seen in New York. I've seen Yoko Ono. I've seen Paul McCartney. I've seen Spike Lee, to like the New York celebrities walking around, but I've never saw Michelle Trachtenberg. And sure enough, a few days later, she passes away. Again, I know her more from Euro Trip, that movie.
And then I think we just roll into number one because it's basically a very similar story. But the number one story this week is Gene Hackman found dead in his home along with his wife and one of their dogs. This is a crazy story, but basically he was found inside of his Santa Fe, New Mexico home. And it seems as of right now, the family at least believes that it might be carbon monoxide poisoning that could have triggered his death. I know that they were living in a newer home that wasn't built that long ago, maybe in like 2000. So I guess, 25 years old, but that's not very old for a home. So they're trying to figure out if there were any issues with gas leaks or what could have been the problem, because for him and his wife and a dog to pass away. I guess they had 3 dogs. The other 2 survived. But I guess there was deputies were performing a welfare check at the property on Wednesday and found the couple's bodies. The gas company, the fire department personnel also responded to make sure there weren't any toxic fumes that would endanger deputies during the search. And so just a sad ending to that story. You know what's interesting? I saw photos of him from like March of last year. I would not have recognized him. He looked so different. He had really aged. I don't know if he was sick or what. I just guess never kept up on Gene Hackman over the years, but he was in LA and I would not have recognized him at all.
I would not have recognized him. I mean, guys won 2 Academy Awards, a few Golden Globes. Unforgiven. He was Popeye. In the French Connection.
He was in the French Connection, yeah.
Yeah, Under Fire.
You know what?
Birdcage, Behind Enemy Lines, Runaway Jury. I mean, just so many good movies.
I think I know. I guess I remember him most vividly from the Birdcage because it was such a funny ass movie when I was younger. That's when I think of Gene Hackman. That is like literally the first thing I think about is him with Nathan Lane and Robin Williams and how funny that movie was.
How great was Birdcage? Birdcage was ahead of its time.
Do you remember the dishes that had like the guys having sex on it?
Yeah. But Birdcage was so ahead of its time. I mean, at that time it pushed like the gay element, like gay lifestyle before it was almost accepted as it is today. But everyone like quietly loved that movie. It was great. That's a classic movie.
Movie.
That's a comedy. All right. Well, that is the raw rundown, the top 10 stories a week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral or YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And if you go leave a review, it's the best thing you do to support this podcast. Leaving us a review. Follow our private Facebook group called Off the Record. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We are on all social media platforms. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. Follow this guy. Keep following people. Let's share all the follows. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily. Hurry up. Come on, let's go.